Project Mythic is kind of a superhero game in the vein of BPRD, Hellboy, Night Force, kind of a mashup of a super heroic game and a supernatural like investigation game. So if you took the X-Files and I don't know, like some kind of like Teen Titans and mash that together with Fringe, you would get Project Mythic. In Project Mythic, you guys play special operatives for the Institute. And the Institute is a shadowy organization that goes around and investigates supernatural and weird occurrences around the world. Now, there are superhumans in the world, but they're very low key and they're very few and far between. And most of them, have corporate sponsors. Some work for the government. Some don't even know that they have superhuman abilities. They're just, maybe particularly lucky or maybe just a little bit strong. They're so low end that, they don't even really register. And then you have, the nuts who want to dress up like supervillains and go out and try to poison water supplies and blow up bridges and stuff like that. And you have heroes that deal with that, but not you guys. As I said, you guys belong to the Institute, and the Institute tries to find and stave off these attacks from like the other world. And the other world basically comes over through shallowings in our reality. And when the membrane between our two realities becomes thin enough, then these other world beings can pass through. And that's where you get shenanigans like, zombies and vampires and weird creatures and monsters. So that's what you guys do. In your spare time, you guys do whatever you want to do. But occasionally your handler, Mahogany Johnson, she gets a hold of you for the Institute, and she sends you guys, all over the world to take care of these problems. So let's just introduce the characters. Let's start with Aaron. Who is your character?
I am playing Armature, and there you go.
Yep.
She's interesting because she was born with no limbs, and she was taken away to get trained, and she has, I believe it's cybernetic limbs, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
That. And she is Indian by birth, and so that I was attracted to her. I think she's
awesome,
kind of cool.
Okay, and Renee?
I am playing Jewel Jackson, intrepid college student who has electrical powers. And yeah, she's just kind of your typical college chick, always on the run, always on the go, studying for finals and trying to be a superhero.
Awesome. Brian, who are you playing? Mr. Brian?
Just coming off of mute. So I am playing one of those weirdos who runs around in a costume by the name of a Cardinal. So in my secret identity, I am Drake Espinosa, an aeronautic engineer, and I've got a thing with birds. I can communicate with them, and basically I've gone crime fighter vigilante, and and look out for evildoers and beat them the heck up. So I guess I've got a tiny bit of reputation of some type in the supernatural community. The group would certainly know that, like, I've been doing this for a while. So when I catch up with people, when I catch up with this group, I have an odd. I go from quiet to perhaps talking a little too much, like somebody who tries to stay quiet, but is going a little bit batty in solitude. Awesome. Cardinal.
Okay, and then we have David. Who are you playing?
Playing Bravo. No one really knows who or what Bravo is. He, as it says, he stepped through a shallowing 78 years ago, wearing gym shorts, flip-flops, and a t-shirt stating, "I'm with stupid," with the arrow pointing up. But he's pretty intelligent, like not like super intelligent, but he knows stuff. people think that he's maybe a time traveler, but they're not quite sure. And he's joined the Institute and befriended the first Project Warhorse scientist, Josephine Okeke. Is that how you pronounce it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In the 1940s. And since then, he's been in the Institute, in the halls, with the occasional sabbatical to go find himself. So over the course of the decades, the Institute's looked at Bravo as the heart of their field teams. He's definitely not a good leader, but he's always ready to lend a hand. So
Right. Awesome. Okay. Now let's go back around the room, and this will just be for like outtakes. Renee,
Yes.
during this game, what is the expectations for your character?
What are the expectations for my character? I think just trying to become a fully realized superhero. Because right now I think she's still finding herself, finding out her path of what she wants to be. And probably the heavy heritage of having her grandfather, be a pretty famous superhero, Sergeant Stormfront. So probably some pressure there. So I don't know. I would say just trying to find herself a little bit, become a superhero, be the best she can be.
Cool. Aaron?
I have scenes in my head of her swinging from rafters, kind of like a Tarzan sort of a thing, because she's got these really cool limbs, which are just very flexible and can be anything she wants them to be. So she's got kind of the ultimate limbs and being born without them. So I just kind of see her being very gymnastics and swinging around, and it was a little bit Spider-Man, Tarzan kind of a thing going on.
Cool. David?
yeah, Bravo's, I kind of view him as kind of like Fred from Big Hero 6. He's just kind of there. You know, wants to kind of be the heart of the team, maybe, in terms of like he's really excited for everybody else, and he'll help out as he can, but he's also just kind of along for the ride. So he wants to see everything. Yeah, so he's mostly mostly there for the team. So
Okay. And Brian?
A cardinal wants to punish someone. So somewhere there's a wrong that's been done, and it needs to be righted, which will probably involve some punishment.
This is going to involve some punishment. Okay. All right. That sounds cool. All right, gang. You guys have basically been contacted in the middle of the night by Mahogany Johnson. Tall woman, no nonsense, has her cigarettes. Basically meets you guys at a Dennys. She's sitting at a table, and she's fiddling with her cigarette pack. Even though she's not supposed to be smoking in here, she has like a cigarette out, and it looks like she wants to light it. It's a rainy night, probably around 7 in the evening. People are in there eating. There's families in there, and this is where she wanted you guys to meet her. Who's showing up first?
Jewel will show up. She's always on time.
Okay, so Jewel shows up. I'm assuming. Are you dressed in like your work clothes, or are you dressed as a normal civilian?
I think I'm dressed as a normal civilian. We're just getting. I'm assuming she called us to gather us to give us some sort of orders or some sort of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she'd pick a public diner if she wanted to stall superhero out. So I'll just come with my, casual, some Converse and jeans, sweatshirt.
Okay.
Slide into the booth.
Okay, who's next?
Armature is definitely watching this before she approaches. She wants to make sure it's not a trap. So she is off to the side looking, across the street, peering through the window. She's wearing your traditional oversized raincoat that's brown. She's got gloves on and a hat, so she looks probably very
Sketchy.
suspicious. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay.
Did you ever notice how birds are kind of everywhere? I mean, there's probably one perched along the wire, a couple on the building opposite. Drake seems to be in civilian clothes, but only because he's got a long coat on, and his some of his gear is covered with that, and probably a pair of shoes, and his face mask is in a little EDC bag that he has slung. And he's about a block and a half away, and just nursing a coffee, and both looking around up and down the street, as well as kind of zoning out, which means that he's also looking around through the eyes of a bird or two.
Okay.
And so he probably gives the nod to Armature if we've worked before, because we'd both be the type who would be like looking around, like, what's going on? That's our job in part, I think. At least mine.
Okay. So, and what about Bravo? Last.
Bravo's just going to be, he's probably just come from the vending machine, new coffee in his hand, but like seemingly wide awake. Like, even though it's really early in the morning, he's just awake in his track pants, track jacket, no shirt on under his track jacket though. Just
Right.
like it's his casual lounging around wear sort of thing.
Okay.
And comes in and takes a seat.
Okay. Mahogany, she checks her phone, acknowledges you guys, but checks her phone, and decides to start, even though, everyone that she requested isn't here.
Drake will make his way in. Right.
Okay. Well, you'll be making your way in as she's basically cursing you to the others, I put these things out. They're not suggestions. People should be here. I don't know what the problems are. And then, you walk in. She gives
That's
you
right.
some side eye.
That's right. You don't know what our problems are. We're here.
Hey. It's just people make it in their own time. It's all cool. Get things
Once
done.
Armature sees nothing's blowing up, she'll come in.
Right. Well, there's probably plenty of blood. I mean, it is a Dennys. So there's all sorts of sorrow and sadness going on inside this place. But you guys all come in.
Okay.
The waitress, or actually, the waitress, she comes over and she greets you guys. She smiles. She asks you guys if there's anything she can get for you. Mahogany gets a coffee and a Grand Slam. That's what she orders. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll take the club, and can I get a kids menu with the crayons?
She hands it to you, plus the kids menu. Mahogany says, this does not come out of the Institute's coffers. You guys have to go Dutch on this. We're all going to need separate checks, please, she says.
Come on. I already used my own gas money to get here.
And you'll use your gas money to get back. She slides across the manila envelope. She says, you guys are in Cleveland right now.
Cosmopolitan.
She signs what's that?
It's a cosmopolitan.
Yeah, it's incredibly cosmopolitan. She slides across the manila envelope. She says that we've got some disturbing news at one of the local high schools. We've seen some type of troubling activity there. About a week ago, there was an explosion at a school camping trip, killing 12 of the students. One teacher survives. And, she has pictures in there. All these photos of students, class pictures. Very strange, since the explosion seemed to come from inside the building, incinerated most of the children. Again, only one teacher who was outside of the building survived. at the campground. While mourning, it was a clear day when the funerals were happening, and then all of a sudden, there was a cloud burst, so bad, in fact, that the entire funeral had to be shortened, and a student and her family have gone missing from that. And lastly, just about 2 hours ago, there's been an explosion at another of the students' homes, and I'd like you to check it out. Short notice, so she gives you guys another envelope. When you open it, you see some little FBI IDs that look like they were done like on someone's like inkjet printer and laminated. So there's pictures of you guys that may have come off your Facebook or whatever social media or whatever picture they may have had of you. So they might be a little bit awkward looking, but she hands those over.
This is some real Star Labs quality.
Like I said, it was short notice, and for the record, I had to run up to the store to get a new cartridge for my printer. So that's going on the expense report too.
My eyes are closed in this picture.
Well, when you show the ID, make sure your eyes are closed when they question you.
So that last student you were saying, was this one of the students that was killed, or is this another student from the high school? A different student?
Which one?
The explosion at home?
The explosion at home.
The explosion at the house.
Yeah.
She's getting up now. She's not even waiting for like her food to come. And she's starting to walk out. She says, they all are connected to the school. They're all high school students.
Is
various
the name
ages, but all high school students.
Is the name of the this family in the pack the one where the explosion just took place?
No. But basically, Mahogany Johnson got that from basically from the police report. Basically, like ambulances were on their way. So
what's the student's name, or what's the family's name? Do we know? For the recent explosion, the one 2 hours ago?
Yes, she does know. But you see like the little like hourglass above her head start to go off as her heart drive starts to work, as she starts looking for that name.
Well, it's early.
Yes, that's right. The Milton family.
I can, out of character, Cardinal can fly.
Mm-hmm.
Who else can move fast on the team? Because the real ATF or other people may show up pretty quick on this one, so we may want to begin our interrogations ASAP.
Your interrogations.
Joel can fly, and so she moves okay.
Nice.
Let's print out missing some numbers.
Well, can Bravo teleport? Doesn't he just show up where he needs to be?
Yeah, I'll show up where you need me.
Bravo can move fast, like he can run. He's not like a speed demon.
He doesn't really have any powers.
He does have powers. All his powers are all physical. So he's really strong and really resilient to damage.
Right.
That's basically his powers, that he is strong. He's athletic is what he is. He is, all about, running around, jumping around, punch people in the head, playing
really
soccer. Yes, that is essentially his superpower.
Superpower.
Yes, that he baby oils up and takes off his shirt.
I'd offer you a ride in the Birdmobile, but it really isn't something that works. A Birdmobile.
That's right.
I probably have a Vespa for when I want to get around casually.
Yeah.
In your costume.
Right. Cool. Okay. So what are you guys going to do?
Should we head over to the Milton residence?
Well, it is like 3 in the morning, isn't it?
Well, it's a crime.
No,
scene.
it's 7 in the evening.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Okay.
yes, let's head over there. But first, before we head over there, I want to stop at a liquor store and see if this even fools a liquor clerk. Does
What?
this ID even
This
fool a
is-
liquor clerk?
Yeah, he looked. Actually, he probably looks at it and tries to scrutinize it, because he does work for a liquor store, which they can get in trouble if they don't look at ID.
But if
But-
he's
I
screwed,
know, that's what I'm
You sh-
thinking.
that's where whoever's with you should as he begins to scrutinize, should be, hey, what, you're really going to check out an FBI badge? Hey, how many kids have you been serving liquor to?
That's right.
So these are
Exactly.
your book.
That's right. See the book.
What names are on the FBI badges, or can we choose?
Yeah, you guys can choose.
Okay.
Officer Schmitty Jones. Officer Kiss. Watery Kiss. Officer.
Yeah. Bravo's is J Tall.
Jay
So-
Tall.
Yeah,
Okay.
as in Jethro Tull.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Do you have your Aqualung?
Right. Right. Going off like the supernatural every time they
Right when they show up someplace.
show up
Yeah,
someplace,
those
it's
are-
always some hard rock sort of
That's right.
or classic rock sort of thing.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay. You guys, the Milton family home. It's in a pretty nice neighborhood in a suburb. The next closest house, is probably about 1 to 200 meters away. Nice big yards. Kind of a upscale neighborhood, not ridiculously wealthy, but well off neighborhood. You see that there's a few cop cars there right now. There's EMT, and you see the house is gone. It is just a wreckage when you guys get there.
Ooh.
Who's doing what?
Are there any officers or
Yeah.
emergency personnel
Absolute
around?
officers. Yep, officers standing around doing their things.
Let's head over to the ones in charge.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Bravo's
you-
just going to
you-
start wandering the crime scene.
I'm
Okay.
going to
So-
start looking at the neighbors' houses, particularly the ones across the street. Do they
Okay.
have any of those security door cameras?
Probably, but again, the next closest house is, there's a real huge distance between them.
Okay. I'm going to
so-
see if there's anything that's going to be like a camera that would be facing this house.
Okay. So you leave the scene and go off to another house.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's anything that would have a camera pointing at the house so we could see video-wise what happened the hours beforehand.
Okay, cool. So you're doing that. Bravo goes over and starts looking through the wreckage. What does Cardinal do?
Cardinal is going to walk over in his his long coat and whatnot, so he's not superheroed out with maybe with was that Armature or whoever else is an occupied? Maybe we.
Well, Jewel definitely wants to talk to some people. That's
Yeah,
what she-
so if Jules not superheroed out, maybe we do the partner thing and walk up.
Sure.
I picked up an extra coffee on the way.
Okay.
And so as we approach whoever, like the group of them, and one of them is in charge, I got a coffee in one hand and I offer it to whomever. And I look at the site and I say, Jesus H. Christ, when they said the house took a hit, they didn't say gone. I flash my badge long enough for like fucking feds to register. And I'm like, yeah, feds. and I put it away. I said, who's in charge? What can you tell us? All they did was call us about 30 minutes ago.
All we got was a call from the neighbors. He says he takes a coffee. Thank you. And he starts motioning up toward the house. There's a few kids huddled together. And he says, yeah, they were out in the guest house out back when the house just kind of exploded. Luckily, they weren't inside. Or
So the family escaped? Harm?
The family was out of town from what we can get from the kids. There was a party. One, and he flips through his thing. Brittany Milton. She, I guess, was throwing a party. But something weird happened. The house blew up.
House blew up. ATF is going to be all over this in like a day, if that. Oh God, the headache, the paperwork. Oh.
Is Brittany still here? Is she on the scene?
We haven't been able to find her, and he's looking through his papers.
And that's why we're here, right? Kidnapping too. Oh God.
She may have been in the house. And he's looking through that. Armature, give me an investigation plus your perception roll as you are across the street. So that would be, what is that, 5 dice? 1 being your wild die?
Yep, that is 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, you look across. You go down the street, maybe across the street, and you go up their driveway, and it's one of those windy driveways. The trees obfuscating the actual house. Yeah, I guess you would probably see, like, maybe there is a camera, for the door, one of those door cameras, but nothing, no type of surveillance equipment outside the house, like like they've got one at the foot of the yard or whatever. It's just basically a security camera for the door, which you see, and it probably sees you. Unless you're creeping around in your bushes.
Knock on the door and get ready to flash my badge.
Okay. You flash a what?
The badge.
Okay. How's that?
For what it's worth.
Okay. So you knock on the door. You flash your badge. They immediately open the door because they've probably been watching, trying to see.
I imagine they're peeking through the curtains.
Right. Exactly. So you come up there. Can I help you? Says the gentleman who answers the door.
Hold up the badge and then throw it away, real quick, so you can't scrutinize it.
Right.
I need to see the footage from your door cam.
From the door cam.
The camera from your door.
Yeah. Barbara, do you know how to get the video off the camera? It's hooked up to the computer upstairs. You hear, from inside the house. Well, do you know how to get it? Well, I just look at it. I don't really. Does it record? Oh, would you like to come in? He says.
Yeah.
And so then they take you upstairs, and they go through the painful process of trying to figure out their technology that they've bought.
Arguing the whole way.
Right. So let's see. Bravo. Yep. You are out there doing your little thing. What are you looking for?
He's looking through the rubble, just kind of walking around. The left hand in the back, just stuck in his back pocket, carrying around a Dennys mug with coffee in it still. Just kind of looking around, looking pretty casual about it for this being the explosion of a house site. Just looking for some clues, and if he doesn't see anything obvious, he'll continue on toward the guest house, see what kind of party or whatever was happening back there, and see if anything was connected.
Okay. You're doing that. Give me, tell you what, give me a knowledge plus technical roll. Gonna need it's a difficulty 3.
Okay. I do not have technical.
But you do have some knowledge, bro.
I do have some knowledge. And I got a 6 on the wild die, so there's a possibility I could get this. Well, I only have 2 knowledge, so and another 6. And a 1, so I only have 2 successes. It was so close.
Almost.
So close.
Okay, so you're looking around.
Can I use hero points or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can use up to 3 if you would like. Yeah, you can use up to 3.
So if I use a hero point, it's an extra die for a wild die.
Yep, it's an extra wild die.
That is enough and gets me to 3.
Okay, this is what you notice. The house obviously blown up. blown up from the inside. Now, it doesn't look like an explosion. It looks more like a pressure detonation. So there's no fire or burns. It just looks like the house was popped open from the inside.
Okay.
So there's no fire here. There's nothing being burnt. All three of you guys, the three who are still at the house, give me a perception plus investigation roll.
Okay.
Wow.
And Armature, you can give me a knowledge plus technical roll for yourself as you try to help them figure out.
I got no successes.
Yeah, after that brilliant deduction of the pressure wave, Bravo becomes clueless and gets 0 successes.
Cool. Awesome. What about Cardinal?
No.
You on mute again, perhaps?
That's right. I would imagine so. Or
And 3 successes for my roll.
okay.
Yeah,
So,
sorry. What was that? Was perception plus
investigation.
perception 4, so 6.
Yep. Your investigation plus. Let's see. So you would have, what is that? 4 dice plus your investigation of 2. So yeah, 6 dice.
All right.
Nice.
And roll. So 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, cool. So what did you get, Armature?
3 successes.
Okay, you managed to get their. You retrieved like the door cam video off the computer. They also show you some pictures of the grandkids, and you can tell like they've never filed
never had
away
a parking ticket in their life. I know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and yeah, you're up in the sewing room / computer room. Lots of she shows you like her new sewing machine, which all sorts of embroidery and stuff like that. The door cam maybe gets the house just exploding.
Okay.
And if you look back far enough, you see cars driving up to the house, but those cars are there now, and they look like teenagers' cars, teenagers getting out, going up to the house. So that's what you get.
Do mark the cars, that way I can go and run the ones that are most recent and possibly get some names to go with that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
And I keep a track of, I write this address down. Maybe she makes superhero costumes in her series.
Right. She can absolutely do it. She's got like a couple bolts of like, different material. She does all sorts of stuff. She's embroidering. She's making these really cool like quilts. She's taking it up a level, she says, with these quilts. Not only is she doing the quilt, but she's going to do embroidery on the quilt.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
now that's what I need.
Yeah, and her granddaughter says she could probably sell these things on Etsy. So once she figures out where Etsy is, she will go talk to her and then
Go talk to her.
yeah, and sell some quilts. So that's what she's gonna do.
You're describing some of my relatives here, Jerry.
Yeah, I'm describing everyone's relatives. But back at the wreckage site, the only one who succeeded was Cardinal. So Cardinal, you see over in the woods nearby the wreckage, you see 2 shadowy figures look like they're fighting. But you really don't hear anything. You just kind of see it. And it looks like they're kind of struggling against one another. Bravo, as you're walking through the wreckage, you step on like some of the debris and you hear a groan underneath the debris.
Oh.
All
right.
So what are you guys going to do?
They're fighting right now.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't look like they're fighting like they're, it looks like more of a struggle.
There's a struggle and I'm standing with the cops, right?
Yep.
All right. I just like, I look, I just kind of take 2 steps and I drop the coffee and I start to run. I make like I'm gonna draw. I'm like, hey, you 2. And I just go running that direction.
Right. Okay.
But,
Um,
how far away are they? I mean, they're not 10 feet. They're obviously further than anybody noticed.
They're probably like 50 meters away. It's a pretty decent, like, they're out where the backyard would probably be, which probably rolls into like someone else's backyard.
Yeah,
You know.
I don't think I could go run after them without the cops noticing I'm taking off. So I make like a law enforcement officer would. I'd and